I want to welcome back to the show Patty Farmer. Patty Farmer is the networking CEO and the owner of the Hot Pink Mamas business networking group here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. She has DFW BizLinks, which is a website that is a place for people to meet and give their directory information, and she's going to tell us about that. She's an author, she's a speaker, she's in demand, so when I can get her, I grab her, and she's back here to share with us some networking tips and to tell us what she's been doing since she was last on the show. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Kathy. But I want you to know, on that after show, I'm definitely getting the sausage story. They're leaving me hanging.
Well, that's an old adage. That's an old adage. It ain't pretty sometimes. And so that's what. Since you were last on, you have been crazy busy.
Oh, so busy, but I love it.
And Travis is joining us. He brought you to the show last time, so he is going to help. He knows you best. He is the president of your Park Cities and Uptown chapter, and of which I am now a member of, and very happy. I've never joined a group before.
Woohoo! We converted.
Oh, but I went to your mixer, and that was just probably. Just the quality, the quality of people, the energy that was in the room, it just felt really good. So I was real pleased with that. So he announced last time that she was writing a book. And then I saw you at a book signing, and then I've been after you ever since. So tell us what's been happening in your life.
Well, it's been busy. Like you said, it's been very, very busy. And ever since I won the award, so a lot of exciting things have been happening because of that.
And you won this award about a couple of weeks ago, right?
2 weeks today.
Yes. And it was a big, they did the voting. It was voted all over.
No voting.
There wasn't any voting by
It was not voting. It was actually done by a criteria, and there was a panel. I didn't even get to know what the criteria was.
Whoa.
Oh, if I'd have known it was voting, well, that wouldn't have been tough.
Well, people...
We'd have been all over that.
I'd have been all over that. But there was no voting. As a matter of fact, when I found out, I actually asked her that. I was like, is this a voting? Because if it is, I need to get that out to my network. She said, no voting.
Maybe you should run for office now that I think about it. Patty Farmer, the farmer's friend.
Oh, I don't know. Really. There you go. But actually... I have to tell you, it was really exciting. I didn't expect to win. I was really surprised. There's two criteria that they actually had and 2 awards. And the thing about the U.S. Small Business Conference is it goes to a different city every single year. So next year it's actually going to be in San Francisco. So with it being in Dallas here, it'll never be in Dallas again. So that was kind of exciting, being the best business connector in Dallas, because nobody else will ever have it. So that was kind of exciting there. Now, the other award that I got nominated for, America's Most Influential Business Connector, I didn't win that, unfortunately, but there's always next year, right? But I was in really great company, so Zig Ziglar, and, so there were some so there were some really good ones. So I was in really great company, so I was kind of honored for that. But I didn't expect to win, but it was really exciting. I've only been here for 2 years. So.
Did you get a crown?
I didn't get a crown, but I did get an award. But so it was kind of really exciting.
So does this mean we get a road trip next year to San Francisco?
We absolutely get a road trip. I'm already booked. I've already booked all the things because we're going to go back there and kind of hand off the award. And there's a blog that they're actually doing. And I want you to know, Travis, she doesn't have a blog on her U.S. Small Business page. And I told her, you need to get a hold of Travis and put a blog on there, because I was thinking how great it would be for marketing for her to have the people talk about the things that have happened, because already in 2 weeks so many wonderful things have happened to me. And I shared those with her, and I said, if you had a blog, we could blog those on there, and that would get you a lot of marketing publicity for your business there. And so
you've got some pretty websites that have gone up here lately. You just put up the Hot Pink Mamas Dallas website,
HPM Dallas
.com, and that gives all the information on your networking businesses.
Yes,
and then you've got what?
But the most exciting one is that I have Travis doing my new one. It'll be done in how long, Travis? Few weeks, maybe.
Weeks, yep.
Few weeks. So Travis is doing my pattyfarmer.com. So.
Oh man.
So it's gonna rock.
Okay, and we know that what a good job Corner 6 Labs does with websites and everything else. You're lucky. That was a coup. I've been still trying to grab him and get him to do it, but I know that they're busy and they're excellent. So that's exciting.
It is exciting. I'm very, very
You're
excited.
You're going to get to pull it all together.
Yes.
Because you got the DFW links, and what does that do? What?
DFW BizLink? Well, DFW BizLink is a online resource guide. And how that actually happened, people ask me all the time, how did you go with that? But the reason why is when I was in Las Vegas, there was a one place to go where everything that was happening, you just went to that one place. And when I moved here to Dallas, I realized that when I was promoting all my stuff, I had to go here and here and here and here. And I was like, why don't we have one centrally located place? And then all of a sudden I went, I should create that. And so
you're such the entrepreneur, and that's exactly, find a niche and fill it.
I just think that people don't have time, so they want to know in one spot where is everything that's happening in DFW. So that was kind of really what happened with that.
And so you don't even the fact that if it isn't Hot Pink Mamas, you still list
of course.
it. Yeah.
We have other networking group stuff on there. And not only just that, we have family-friendly stuff. It's all about workshops, educational stuff, and we have wine tastings. People put those on there. Things for kids. There's all kinds of, we even have realtors put their open houses on there, yard sales.
Jobs, I think you even do some.
There is some of that on there. But one of the things that I really love about it that we did is I wanted to take into consideration that even though we have family-friendly stuff and yard sales and realtors doing their stuff, if you had an RSS feed for all that, maybe you don't want to hear all that. Maybe you don't want to see all that. So we made it so you could customize it. So if you only want networking stuff, you can customize it to only get that. If you only want family-friendly stuff, you can only get that. So you can customize it to only feed you the information that you actually are looking for.
Oh, that's nice. I like that. And people can become a member of that. They sign up and can list their business or whatever. Is that information there at the website?
Information is there on the website.
Okay. And then you're going to have the Patty Farmer, but that's going to be your all over. Tell me, is that going to include the stuff about are you going to tell people about, well, last time she came on, she talked about a book deal.
Right.
That you had gotten. And then when we talked, you said it's been crazy, and some wonderful things have happened your way. And tell us, you've increased your authorship before you've even written your first book.
Crazy, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So what happened is just today, actually, I had somebody contact me to be a part of a book called Courage to Succeed, which is a book about 10 women who had the courage to leave corporate America and follow their dream, what the process was and what kind of things that they went through in doing that. And so they contacted me and asked me if I'd be one of the women for that. So I did that this morning before I came here, so this has been a productive day. And then I also was asked to be co-author of a book called Making Your Connections Count. And so they asked me to write in that book about how to open up a networking organization and the power of the follow-up and a couple other things like that. So that is going to be coming out before summer, which will be before my book, and at the end of the year is when my actual book will be available. So it'll be kind of like books through the year. So 2011 is going to be a good year for the book.
And do you read a lot yourself?
Every day.
Okay. And if you were, of course, we can't read the book now, but if you were telling somebody what book is a good book to get on networking, do you have one, or do you have some, or just books generally that you would suggest to people that are entrepreneurs or who are looking to market their business?
Well, actually, on my site, hpmdallas.com, we have a tab there that's a resource tab, and part of what I put on there is we have my favorite blog sites, my favorite resources. I have a thing there for books, and of those books, I have 3 books every single month. One is on networking, one is on marketing, and one is on social media, and I change those every single month. So people can go there and kind of hear Patty's picks on what are the ones that I have.
Like Patty's picks.
Patty's picks. So I kind of preview there.
Patty's pies, Patty's party. I love, and my sister's name's Patty.
Oh, well, there you go.
So it's just, it's like, I feel like whenever I say it, I think it brings back good memories.
That's good.
I think. Anyway, and we were talking when we met the other day. There are things, I asked her a couple of questions, and one of the questions I'm going to ask you again because I thought it was great. I network a lot, and I try to keep up with it, and I go places. I get a handful of cards. I'm the card woman, and at the end, I get them and I put them on a stack, and I try to organize them. But we had talked about organizing them, and now that I'm at the end of the year, I kind of got off track because I was doing so much, and I'm looking at the sea of business cards that I've gotten through the year, which represents a lot of networking. But there are people that I haven't followed up with, I haven't put it in, and I wanted you to share with people.
I'm shuddering right now when you just said that. Didn't follow up with, that, right?
I didn't follow up. I didn't follow up with the people, and because I can't, and that is a challenge.
It is a challenge.
And I kind of, if they call me, it's almost better, but I know that this is what you teach, this is what you advocate. So here I am with all these business cards, and what do you tell people? Number one is you should start out organized, but what are you telling people how to stay organized and make the most of your networking?
Well, the first thing I'm going to tell you based on what you just said is if you can't follow up with all the networking you're doing, you need to cut out some of that networking you're doing and do the follow-ups. Because all that networking and going to all those and connecting and getting all those business cards, if you don't follow up, you just wasted your time.
I agree.
So first of all, I'm going to tell you that. So with that said, but for organizing them, I have two options that I tell people. One of them is to get a binder. You can get those page things where you can put the business cards in, and you could do that. And I know a lot of people do that. I do mine a little bit differently because I also like to consider myself a connector as well. So what I use is you can go for $5 to Office Max or someplace like that. You can go there and get a business card box. And what I do is then I buy a set of index cards that are alphabetized, and I put them in that box. And here's where it differentiates. I file all those cards by industry in there.
Isn't that smart?
So chiropractor under C, et cetera, et cetera. And then when somebody says to me, it could be 6 months later, and somebody says, I'm looking to be introduced to, I just have to go to that box, pull out that industry, and now I have those cards and I can refer them business. I take it a little bit further. I actually write on the back of the cards where I met them. So if I haven't seen them in a few months, when I'm doing the introduction, I can say, we met at such and such, and I'd like to introduce you to this person and stuff. But it's a very good way to set yourself up as an expert and to become a resource for somebody, and that makes you a valuable connection.
That makes you a valuable connection, exactly right, and because people do. Do you have a question? Was there a question there, Travis? Because I saw you raise your hand.
Excuse me. No, I was agreeing with her.
Oh, yes. So I was, one of the things that we had talked about, and this is, like you just said, with the, there's two things I wanted to follow up. Number one is that I went and looked at those card readers you talked about.
Absolutely.
And now I know they're around 140, 100, so, but they put them in your Outlook, and she uses that.
And guess who taught me to do the thing in Outlook with that? That would be Travis. So Travis, why don't you tell us about that really great thing you showed me?
I'm kind of confused. What
The
are you
Outlook
talking
thing about the putting your things in Outlook, and he has this really great plugin. He told me about how it, the Outlook social media plug.
Oh, the social connector?
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Yeah, if you're using Outlook, you can go to the Outlook homepage, download the social connector. What it does is it adds it into your Outlook. And anytime you get an email from someone, it instantly pulls that email address and scans the universe, I guess, to see if that address is associated with like their Facebook or their LinkedIn. And if it is,
you told me about
that. You can instantly connect with them. And LinkedIn also just released their very own toolbar inside of Outlook.
And not only that, LinkedIn just did their share button too.
So LinkedIn's got a lot of options with Outlook, which I really like. The new LinkedIn bar I downloaded the other day and used it. It actually brings a website up within Outlook and helps you connect to people better. And you can automate some messages to people when you want to connect with them versus having to, go through.
Are you going to be talking about that on your segment a little bit later?
Nah.
Nah.
He doesn't want to share any of his secrets because he's a valuable connection right there. You have to have a one-on-one with him to get that information.
And you have to watch this show to get it too.
Oh, there you
right?
go, and that too.
Yeah, and then this brings me back to so I say that's worth it. I looked at the prices and I priced them, and they've got different types. I don't know what kind you use. If you recommend a certain brand, they got the iris, they got the card scan.
I'll tell you two things. The most important thing that I think is important is there's certain brands that are recognized. I mean, because if you're going to buy something, you might as well buy something you're going to get the most bang for your buck. There are a couple of them out there. Neat Receipts 4.0.
Neat Receipts is awesome.
It's incredible, and IRS recognizes that as your receipts. So if you actually scan your receipts in, IRS will take that, and that's a big, for somebody in business, that's
But it also
really
does
important.
the cards.
And it also does the cards. Now, I am going to tell you that one of the things I will say, if you do a card scanner, which is beautiful, 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 love that. But if you do it, you need to realize that when you're making your cards, people need to understand now, having black cards and then putting blue ink on them, you're not going to be able to see it when you scan it. So you want to make sure that you make your font bigger. You want to make sure that we can tell if it's a 3, a 6, or an 8. Because when we scan those cards now, you have to know that those things come up.